But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So he says that the curses are going to come upon the children of Israel. Now this book is what Moses is being told by Yahawah, by God Almighty. Okay?
Right.
So what we're going to do, he said this curse is going to come upon us.
I understand.
All right, so,
I understand this book completely.
So now let's stop that and let's go back to how does this link up to what we read earlier in Daniel? And we read earlier in Daniel chapter 9.
Yeah.
You remember how that links up to it?
Well, I'm just saying, wasn't Daniel, when he was saying the prayer, wasn't he speaking directly with what had happened, to the nation of Israel at the time of battle?
Yeah, at that time, right.
At that time, right.
Right. Which means that, now these things, it's kind of like when you look at the prophecy that Peter talked about in Acts chapter 2, when he says that this is what was meant when he said, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. That was partially fulfilled in Peter's time, but the totality of it, of what he's quoting from, was not filled in Peter's time. Because it said that the sun shall be dark and the moon shall be turned to blood. Then he said, I'll pour out my flesh upon all nations. And then they call it, And then it calls up, and then it goes on to say, they call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. So partially it was fulfilled in Peter's time, but there was also another aspect of it that was not at Peter's time. Look at Daniel 9:11 and read that.
Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice.
You understand everything that's saying, right?
Yes.
All right.
They've broken the commandments.
Right.
Therefore, the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him.
Now, what is the oath that's written in the law of Moses talking about?
I'm not sure if that's talking about the Ten Commandment law that was written with God's own finger, or the book of the law that Moses had to add because of the extensiveness of the people's sin.
Okay. I'm going to answer that.
Separate laws.
He's saying that the curse is poured upon us that's written in the law of Moses. Okay? When you go back into Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15, he tells you that all these curses will come upon you, which is in the book of Moses.
The book of the law.
The book of the law.
Right.
He tells you that all these curses come upon you. All right? When you look in Deuteronomy 28, and you look at verse 2, it says, and all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahawah, Allahayakah. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. So it goes on with the blessings. When you go to verse 15, it starts with the curses. Now, when you go into Daniel chapter 9, verse 11, Daniel talks about the blessing and the curse, the curse that's going to be poured out on the children of Israel because they broke the laws of Yahawah. And verse 12 says that he's confirmed, meaning he made these words true and certified them. His words which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. Now at the time the great evil was brought upon them, it was not like anything that other nations had experienced. Why? Because he tells us that in the next part. For under the whole heaven, under all the nations, has not been done as has been done upon Jerusalem. So what happened to Jerusalem, under all the other nations under heaven, nothing was done comparative to what was being done to Israel. Meaning what happened to the other nations was nothing compared to what the curse was that Yahawah poured upon the children of Israel. Why are you playing with that cord, man? The curse that was poured upon the children of Yahshua. Okay? So this was something that in its time was unique to Israel and beyond comparison to the other nations. But the dilemma we have is this. The full prophecies of Deuteronomy chapter 28 were not fulfilled in the time of Daniel. Okay? So there's more of these curses that got poured out time after time after time after time again. Okay? Now we see that. You can drop, we're going to read verse 13 also. And it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us, Yet may we not our prayer before Yahawah Eloheinu, that we might turn from our what? Iniquities, and understand thy truth. Now, where did we read about iniquities earlier today when we were praying? You remember? In the same context, it was talking about slavery, it was talking about captivity, and iniquity. In Leviticus.
26, 40.
When Moses wrote in Leviticus. We're going to go there to show that this is not a one-time deal. In other words, after Babylon, what happened? Okay, after Babylon. Before Babylon, what happened? Okay, you had the Persian Mede captivities. Okay, you had the Assyrian captivity. You had the Babylonian captivity. Yeah. Then you had the Persian Mede captivity.
Right.
And after the Persian Mede captivity, you had what captivity? What conquest, I should say.
Are you talking about Nebuchadnezzar's image or what?
Well, that was under Babylon, remember? So that was in Babylon. After Babylon was what kingdom? Persian Medes, right?
Yeah, Medes and Persians.
And right after the Medes and Persians came, who came and conquered them?
It was Greece.
It was Greece.
Right.
And that's when Greece attacked Jerusalem, Israel, and they forbade us from obeying the laws of our fathers. They told Israel under the Maccabees, during the Maccabees time, about 167, 130, 167
now,
BC.
all that's in the Apocrypha, and some people say the Apocrypha.
Well, this is history. This is history because when you go to Luke, when you go to John 10:22, it tells you that Christ observed the feast of dedication.
So
regardless of whether it's in the Apocrypha or not, Yahawah or Christ observed the feast of dedication. So he acknowledged the history that the temple was dedicated.
So it's actual history.
After the Maccabees took it back from the Greeks.
Okay.
So the Apocrypha and the authenticity of it is a different topic.
Yes.
But it is a valid book though.
I understand.
They can question the authenticity of it, but they can't question how Hebrew records and Greek records and Josephus historical records, how these all line up. You know,
Antiochus, is he in this book?
Tacitus, Antiochus Epiphanes. He's in here. They talk about him in Maccabees chapter 1. He's the one that began the onslaught of Jerusalem.
And he defiled the temple.
And caused everybody to try to sacrifice the pigs. In which case, Yahawah ban Mattathiah, or Judas, the son of Matthias, what they call Maccabees, he rose up. His father rose up, actually. His father's name was Mattathiah. They were in a village called Moedim. They rose up and began a rebellion, against the Greeks, against Greek oppression of Israel. The Maccabees did. Right. Well, actually, the Maccabees was just the nickname put on them because there was actually one man that was called the Hammer. That's what Maccabees meant. Okay. Makwabath, his name's Hammer. Okay. A Maccabee. So now, Daniel is talking about this evil was poured upon us. Okay, in his time of Babylon. But we also know after Babylon we had what? Another evil poured upon us with the Persian Mede Empire, which happened in the time of Esther and them, right? Then after that we had another evil poured upon us under the time of the Romans. And before the Romans we had the Greeks.
Right.
And what happened under the Romans? They discontinued us from being a state. They exiled the Israelites from that land. Josephus records it. 70
actually nailing Jesus to the cross.
Yeah.
They were the ones that did it. They did that.
Because of our iniquities and transgressions, remember.
They carried it
because of the wickedness of the people, he came and did that. Or he came and got, gave himself up as a sacrifice, like it says in Isaiah chapter 53. Because the prophecies must needs be fulfilled. So in Daniel, we're told that the curse is poured upon us. And an oath is written in Moses, but that is not like anything that the other nations under heaven have gone through. Under all nations has not been done, as has been done upon Jerusalem. That's why you look at India, you look at all other nations that the Greeks conquered, and you see which one did they go into and do the damage like they did in Jerusalem. None. Everybody else kind of received them they fought them, but then they had no problem mixing their gods with their gods. But Israel was like, no, we didn't want to do that. Said, we don't want to mix our God with your God. And the people that did voluntarily sacrifice, ended voluntarily sacrificing to the Greeks' pagan gods, ended up getting slaughtered themselves by Israelites that were against that idolatry, like the law says to do.